Dozens of arrests and incidents took place during the Mifflin Street block party. Local officials are now saying enough is enough. Could it be the end of the annual event? Plus, disturbing video from Milwaukee showing the frightening moments a driver crashes into a school bus. We have the details, and you're watching News 3 Now at 5. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, we're learning new details about what led to the arrest of Badger football player Marcus Allen. He was one of more than 40 people arrested at the Mifflin Street block party over the weekend. Allen was approached by officers. They say he had an open intoxicant. Police then confirmed today a gun was found in Allen's bag during the arrest. They say it was stolen, but they haven't determined where that gun came from. Allen was bailed out of jail Saturday and has not been officially charged. News 3 Now is naming him due to his status as a public figure and a member of the Badger football team. That incident and others have members of the police department saying they've had enough, going so far as to say they want the block party to end next year. Armand Rahman has details on this tipping point for police. Armand?
Yeah, Eric, that tipping point, officers say this year they saw a crowd size and drunkenness that they haven't seen before, which is why MPD says that they are working with UW Police Department, the university itself, and landlords to somehow put an end to this kind of block party. And officers attribute the behavior this year mostly to the 74 Borgs, or blackout rage gallons of alcohol they confiscated on the street alone. Authorities are still counting the exact number of arrests and citations, but they say anecdotally, people were allegedly swinging around traffic poles like weapons and climbing trees to grab power lines, which could have escalated if it weren't for the weather.
Had that not and been 70 degrees, we feel like it would have tipped in a less positive direction, and thankfully we had the rain. This is nothing but a drunk fest that is unsanctioned by the university and by the city. And it continues year after year, and we feel that...
And Captain Mike Hansen also says they took at least 20 individuals to a hospital for detoxification, and while doing so, one person allegedly assaulted a nurse. Their condition still unknown tonight. Now, except in 2020 during the governor's stay-at-home order, officials have been unsuccessful at canceling Mifflin in the past, and today students living on this street tell me they really don't know how MPD could actually do it. We'll hear more from them tonight at 10. For now, live on Mifflin Street, Armand Rahman, News 3 Now.
Armand, thank you. And we broke this story of the arrest of Marcus Allen and other developments from Mifflin Street, the party over the weekend, on our News 3 Now Channel 3000 app. Be the first to know when we have those updates. Simply download the app for free in your app store and turn on your push notifications. Well, let's get a look at the first warning forecast. Julian Seawright out on the weather patio on an ugly start to May. Julian.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's May, Eric, as it has been windy all day. We had some showers early into our morning and afternoon hours. The good news is, though, not as wet right now. But our friends to the southwest, you can see parts of Iowa and northwestern parts of Illinois, are under a wind advisory throughout the rest of this evening. These howling winds will continue for us, and it's rather chilly as well. But the wind gusts have come down just a bit. They're around 40 miles per hour for us here in Madison. Now they're into the middle 30s, but we're going to see those be sustained throughout the rest of this evening and not really start to taper off until we get into the overnights, but more breezy conditions heading into our Tuesday. Taking a look at our radars of right now. Again, the rain is pretty much cleared out, but our friends to the east are still dealing with some light shower activity. Now, over the next 3 hours, we're not going to be experiencing much in terms of precipitation, but that is not the same story for our friends to the east as we get into the rest of this evening. As of right now, we're finally getting some peaks of sunshine as we get into our evening hours. 50 degrees right now, and we'll slide into the 40s before midnight, and then we're looking for that temperatures to fall into the upper 30s for the overnight hours as our low temperatures. Before tomorrow, we're going to warm up just a bit more. Well, pretty close to what we are as of right now, into those lower 50s, but it's still going to be rather cloudy and breezy as well. We'll be planning out when we can start to see these gusts start to taper off in a few moments. Until then, back to you, Eric.
Julian, thank you. Frightening video from Milwaukee shows the moment a reckless driver crashed into a school bus. Take a look. A white Kia is seen swerving down the street outside Morse Middle School with people hanging out of the windows. You saw the car crash into the school bus. Several people were injured, including an 11-year-old. A 15-year-old who was in the suspect vehicle also suffered life-threatening injuries. Other occupants took off running from the scene and are still on the loose. Police later discovered that vehicle had been stolen. Starting tomorrow, the legislature's budget writing committee will begin crafting the state budget, but what they come up with will look very different than what the governor proposed earlier this year. So what are the differences? We turn to political reporter Will Keneally for more. Will?
Eric, so the first order of business for the Joint Finance Committee when they meet here tomorrow will be to strip out more than 500 provisions from the governor's budget draft, including some key policies that he ran on.
Affordable, high-speed internet by the end of 2025. We have to do this, folks, and together we will.
But it appears together we won't, as Republicans released a memo outlining more than 500 items from the Evers budget proposal that won't make it into the state budget.
I'm asking the legislature to join me in supporting a $750 million investment into broadband expansion grants.
Those grants won't make it in, along with a major policy push from the governor this year.
Our kids can only achieve their full and best potential when they can bring their full and best selves to the classroom.
The governor declared 2023 the Year of Mental Health in Wisconsin.
Let's make sure every kid in Wisconsin has access to school-based mental health services through our Get Kids Ahead initiative. It's a year of mental health, folks. I know we can get this done.
That won't make it into the budget either, according to Republicans. They will start tomorrow inserting things back into the budget, tackling things like the state's elections commission, but doing so without an Office of Election Transparency that the governor wanted to include. So that's all on the Democratic side. We'll have more tomorrow on what the Republicans will include in that final budget. Now, there could be some room for agreements here. Both Republicans and Democrats want to see tax cuts to Wisconsinites. We'll just have to see the details there. And we're awaiting the final details on a city and county funding plan the Republicans are putting forward. They are close to Democrats on the proposal, and we could see those final details come out as early as tomorrow. Reporting from the Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Will, thank you. Happening tonight, the Dane County Personnel and Finance Committee will vote on whether or not to approve Representative Sheila Stubbs as the new Director of Human Services. Meanwhile, Dane County Executive Joe Parisi is condemning a racist speech used by a supporter of Representative Stubbs. That supporter directed racist language towards black members of the Board of Supervisors during a meeting last week. In a statement, Executive Parisi said, quote, the words directed at Supervisor Kagea by a member of the public at the recent HHN committee hearing were unacceptable and wrong. While the full county board gets final say, the committee unanimously voted against recommending Stubbs for the director position. We'll have more on tonight's vote tonight at 6 and also at 10. A school district in Rock County is now trying to figure out what's next after a failed referendum on last month's ballot lost them millions of dollars in funding. The superintendent of the Milton School District spoke with our Catherine Merck about what changes this could mean for the staff at the schools.
After a $9.5 million referendum to support the school district failed last month, the superintendent is now trying to figure out how to move forward.
So we know that in order to make significant reductions, not just for this year, but in future years too, we will have to make some reductions to the number of people that we have.
Superintendent Rich Dahman says in the coming year, the district will not replace vacancies in order to financially sustain its schools. He says that's because 75 to 80% of the budget goes toward paying its employees. The superintendent says the conversations that are happening with his district's students and families are also happening across the state as failed referendums impact many other schools.
People understand the financial situation that we're in as a school district, and they also recognize that it's not just a school district of Milton issue.
The superintendent says a preliminary budget will be presented at a June 26th school board meeting with a final budget approval in August. Reporting in Milton, I'm Catherine Merck, News 3 Now.
Some roads in Grant County reopened today as floodwaters from the Wisconsin and Mississippi rivers receded. Grant County Sheriff's Office said County Highway C is back open east of Highways 1835 to the Millville boat landing at Barker Hollow Road. Highway 133 back open between Potosi and Cassville from River Lane at the entrance to Potosi Point to Dogtail Road. Multiple roads around the county, though, are still closed due to those floodwaters. Skin cancer is one of the most common cancers, and melanoma causes a large majority of skin cancer deaths. Today is Melanoma Monday, which is a day to raise awareness about skin cancer. Despite the weather outside, we will eventually see the sun again as we start spending more time outside in the sun. It's important to focus on skin health, sun safety, and skin cancer screenings.
I think the importance is really the awareness of one's skin, the awareness in terms of if there's any pigmented area that looks concerning, unusual, changing, to have a low threshold, to have that looked at by one's primary care provider.
The American Cancer Society estimates nearly 100,000 new melanoma cases will be diagnosed in the U.S. this year, and almost 8,000 people are expected to die of melanoma in 2023. New at 5 multiple fatalities have been reported in central Illinois after a dust storm caused a major crash involving some 40 to 60 vehicles. Forecasters say winds gusted between 35 and 45 miles an hour, and the dust storm created blinding conditions. The pileup shut down a portion of I-55 in both directions. This was just south of Springfield. More than 30 people were hospitalized, but their conditions are unknown. A massive search continues in Texas for the gunman accused of shooting and killing 5 people at a Houston area home. Ivan Rodriguez tells us the FBI has now joined the search and is going door to door asking the community for information.
About 1 hour north of Houston in Cleveland, Texas, authorities are pleading for the public's help as they search for 38-year-old Francisco Oropesa.
Right now, we just don't know, because if we did, we would have him in custody right now. We do not know where he is. We don't have any tips right now.
Moments before the massacre, Wilson Garcia and 2 other men walked over to Oropesa's yard and asked him to stop shooting so close to their home because their baby was sleeping, even asking Oropesa to shoot on the other side of his property. The gunman later came to Garcia's home, shooting his wife, 3 other adults, and his 9-year-old son.
One of the people who died saw when my wife fell to the ground and was dying, and she told me to throw myself out the window because my children were already without a mother. So one of us had to stay alive to take care of them.
There were 15 people inside the home when the shooting erupted. 10 of them survived, including Garcia's 2 other children. Authorities believe 2 women died while using their bodies to shield the children who survived. The San Jacinto County Sheriff says he's heartbroken by how all of this unfolded.
My heart is with this 8-year-old little boy. I don't care if he was here legally. I don't care if he was here illegally. He was in my county. 5 people died in my county, and that is where my heart is.
There is now a collective $80,000 reward being offered for information that leads to Oropesa's arrest. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Federal officers patrolling the southern border have been briefed to be on the lookout in case Oropesa attempts to flee to Mexico. The investigators say he has been deported at least 4 times, but it's unknown how long he had been in the U.S. since his last removal. Union leaders called for nationwide protests in France today over the French president's decision to raise the retirement age by 2 years. Clashes erupted within the first half hour of demonstrations in Paris today. President Emmanuel Macron signed the reform into law last month without a full vote in the parliament. The measure goes into effect in September, but the unions have vowed to fight it. Despite the many months of strikes and sporadic violence, more than 62% of the French are sympathetic to this movement, according to polling from last month.
We are going to show Mr. Macron that the country, we are not happy with this reform, and it will not do.
Well, the government says the current pension system is simply not affordable. Its deficit is at risk of spiraling out of control. Next at 5, we'll head to the UK, where the country is getting ready for the coronation of King Charles. Plus, interest rates could go up once again following the collapse of yet another bank in the U.S. We'll have the details when we return. And later, why health officials are monitoring well water in Rock County. We'll have the details next hour on News 3 Now at 6. And on Wall Street today, the Dow falls some 46 points. The Nasdaq down 14 to start the week. The S&P 500 down less than 2. And we'll be right back after a short break.
Experience does count. When you're shopping for new furniture, a mattress set, or flooring, come to the experts at McGann Furniture and Flooring in Baraboo. Our experienced staff is well-trained in home decorating and will answer all your questions so you can buy with confidence. You'll find big city selection and an enjoyable shopping experience. And remember, we don't raise prices only to lower them later for a sale. Come see the difference experience can make at McGann Furniture and Flooring, downtown Baraboo.
As the sun rises, we raise the flag, a symbol of all we hold dear. Courage, opportunity, democracy, freedom. They're the values that built this country and still beat in our hearts. But they're under attack by an extreme movement that seeks to overturn elections, ban books, and eliminate a woman's right to choose. Joe Biden has made defending our basic freedoms the cause of his presidency, and he's running for re-election to finish the job, to protect the freedom for women to make their own health care decisions, the freedom for our children to be safe from gun violence, the freedom to vote and have your vote counted, Under Joe Biden, the sun will not set on this flag. American democracy will not break.
I will defend our democracy with every fiber of my being, and I'm asking every American to join me.
For freedom, for America, Joe Biden.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
This is Matt Gunderson. We recently celebrated the life of Margaret, who never let a cookie jar run empty. Her service was cookie-themed, with everyone enjoying her tasty treats. Allow us to personalize every detail of a life well lived.
You and running have been together for a while now. Fact is, so has Morgan's Good Form Running. Every run is more than just a run. It's about finding oneself. Movement in a new pair of Hokas is good magic. Gear up today at Morgan's Good Form Running. Buy a pair of Hokas and experience the difference. Why run when you can fly?
Experience the comfort and style of Hoka. Visit us here today at Morgan's Good Form Running.
Morgan's Good Form Running, Hilldale.
At Lawton Cates, being prepared and confronting every aspect of your injury case with honesty, integrity, and innovative solutions has earned us a reputation for excellence in representing the injured. Because at Lawton Cates, your life counts.
Tonight on News 3 Now, after a failed referendum on the April 4th ballot lost the Milton School District out of millions in funding, I spoke with the superintendent about what's next.
That's coming up tonight on News 3 Now at 6.
Show us your weather photos, and you could win a First Warn weather umbrella. Send us your weather pics in an email or on the First Warn weather app. We'll select and showcase the winning entries each day on News 3 Now this morning and News 3 Now at 6. Send in your pics to win a First Warn weather umbrella today.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
A crisis prevented after a weekend of tense negotiations. J.P. Morgan Chase is buying most of failed First Republic Bank's assets. Chris Wen explains how it all went down and what it means for America's banks.
First Republic Bank branches opened their doors Monday morning under new management following the collapse of the regional lender.
The First Republic failure was a more traditional bank run. That money started to flow out and flow out fast.
Federal regulators seized control of the bank and its nearly $230 billion worth of assets before J.P. Morgan stepped in as a buyer. CEO Jamie Dimon expressing confidence on an investor call Monday morning.
Hopefully this helps stabilize everything. The American banking system is extraordinarily sound.
This is the second largest bank failure in U.S. history and the third U.S. bank to fail since March.
Interest rates have gone up at the fastest pace in 40 years. The economy's slowing. We're going to see more bank failures, but the system has proven to be surprisingly resilient.
J.P. Morgan Chase was already the largest bank in the United States before the buyout. Now new concerns.
Anytime there's a consolidation of market share, prices tend to go up.
Financial analyst Greg McBride says consumers should constantly be evaluating their banking options.
We've seen with checking accounts over the course of many years, monthly fees and balance requirements have gone through the stratosphere, but yet nearly 40% of banks offer a free checking account on a standalone basis. So there are alternatives out there.
I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Interest rates could be hiked again this week when the Federal Reserve wraps up a two-day meeting. That's scheduled for Wednesday. Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to gather in London this weekend for King Charles' coronation. Buckingham Palace says more than 2,200 people were formally invited, including members of the royal family and representatives from more than 200 countries. Fans have already begun camping along the main road to Buckingham Palace to secure the best possible view of the historic event. Classes are underway also to teach people how to make the perfect coronation quiche. It's a dish the royal family is encouraging residents to serve as they celebrate this big event. It features spinach, broad beans, and tarragon. If you'd like to try that quiche, you can find the recipe on the royal family's official website, which is royal.uk. Well, you could hear a collective groan from all of southern Wisconsin when they woke up this morning, looked out the window. Here's Julian with more on the forecast.
That's right. I even woke up to some howling winds, and those winds aren't going to be going anywhere for the next 24 hours. So let's get straight into our weather headlines. The three things we're going to need to know is that these wind speeds, which have been gusting near 40 miles per hour, are going to continue to taper off just a bit. But even going into Tuesday, we're expecting them to be near that 40 miles per hour gusting wind mark for us. Then we are going to be seeing those highs start to reach near 50, but the 60s aren't coming until we get into the back end of this week. However, the good news is we are looking for things to be rather dry and quiet over the next several days. We could see a couple shower opportunities, but nothing that's going to be very widespread. So let's go ahead and move along to what we have for our surface maps. You can see the upper Midwest in itself is dealing with windy conditions and the chilly conditions as well. Now, the reason why is because we have this low pressure system, which is rather broad and has really tightened in our isobars for the upper Midwest. So these winds coming in from the northwest are going to continue throughout the next 24 hours. The good news is, though, is that the shower activity that we had early this afternoon and for this morning is pretty much done. Just our friends just east of Watertown are dealing with a bit of some light shower activity, but we're not going to be seeing much of it throughout the next about day or so. Heading into the overnight, going into our Tuesday morning, wind speeds, at least the gusts, will taper off. However, it's still around 30 miles per hour. So overnight, you're still going to be looking and hearing those gusting winds. But as we wake up for tomorrow, not too bad into the lower 30s, but they pick up once again in intensity as we get into our early Tuesday afternoon. Not looking to be as strong or intense as they were for today, but nevertheless, it is going to be a breezy day for us. Tonight, temperatures will fall into the upper 30s. Areas to the west could see the lower 40s, but planning out for tomorrow, we're looking for a high near 50 degrees, still dealing with some cloud cover and the lower 50s as we get into our afternoon and evening hours. Much of southern Wisconsin is going to be uniform into those lower 50s. A bit more sunshine will peek in for the southwest between Platteville and Prairie du Chien, but again, we're still going to be dealing with some rather breezy conditions for us. Now, in terms of shower activity, not looking for much. However, our friends to the northeast could see a couple of pop-up showers, especially just near Juneau and for Watertown. As we get into the overnight, around 7 o'clock, as you're getting ready to head out the door, again, just take notes that it is going to be on the breezy side throughout the course of the day. Lunchtime, temperatures will try to improve into the upper 40s, near 50 degrees, but early around 3 o'clock, we're going to be anticipating to see a couple of pop-up showers, but again, not very widespread. So the day in itself is just, you're going to need the light coat or jacket throughout the day and be prepared for some windy conditions, which are going to stick around throughout the course of our Tuesday. Take a look at our 10-day forecast here for our first warm weather team. We're looking at 60s again, starting around Wednesday, but get even better as we get closer towards the weekend. We could see around Sunday some 70s, and then that's leading into next week, where we're finally going to see a bit more of that spring-like weather for us. A quick look at our traffic as of right now. Not looking too bad around the belt line as we're getting into our 5 p.m. rush hour, and taking a closer look over towards the interstate. Everything is all green as we are moving along. That's going to do it for our weather and traffic. Over to you.
All right, Julian, the state DOT out with a new license plate honoring the Ice Age Trail. It features a woolly mammoth, and a portion of each purchase will benefit the Ice Age Trail Alliance. In addition to your standard registration fee, it's $25 for the plate and a one-time $15 issuance fee, $15 more if you want it personalized. The trail covers some 1,200 miles, all of it entirely inside the state of Wisconsin. A new study says climate change could be impacting home runs in baseball games. We'll explain after the break.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I've never been afraid to express myself, to create a life I love. I worried cancer could steal my spark and become my identity. But UW Health designed custom treatments just for me. And now, my legacy, it's still in the making. Because standard, well, that's never been my style. UW Health, remarkable.
Do you know the secret to having the perfect lawn? Maple Leaf Landscaping does. With their 6-step turf care program, you can have a beautiful lawn all season long. Check their website for special discounts and leave the yard work to Maple Leaf, your year-round property care experts.
Join the Circle of Life at the Lion King. Experience the world's #1 musical. Don't miss your chance to see The Lion King, one of the most awe-inspiring productions ever brought to life on stage.
Coming to Overture Center May 11th through 28th. Tickets on sale now at overture.org.
Fry Construction is celebrating 28 years with a big anniversary sale. Join us to save 28%. That's right, 28%. Many of your neighbors already know how we strive to meet and exceed expectations with each and every project. That's why they voted us Best Roofer 3 years in a row. Experience the best of Madison for yourself with Fry Construction. Act now for 28% off gutters with any full roofing project. Schedule your free consultation today at fryconstruction.com.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living, and through no fault of their own, they're being left behind? If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Arby's, 2 for $7 every day. Yee! Classic beef and cheddar hard. 2 of those things for just $7. Arby's, we have the meat.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
The 2023 Major League Baseball season is heating up, and so is a boost in home runs. Astrid Martinez explains how part of that boost could actually be due to climate change.
With home runs flying out of Major League ballparks at record clips, there's new research that suggests climate change is helping fuel the power surge.
Warmer air is less dense, so balls will fly farther when they're hit in baseball.
Dartmouth College researcher Christopher Callahan looked at 100,000 games spanning 60 years. He's calculated warmer temperatures have helped add about 500 extra homers since 2010, and he expects those numbers to climb as global temps climb.
Several hundred more home runs per year. That could rise to as many as 10% more per year relative to what we have now.
Researchers say climate change is only one piece of the puzzle. Other factors include stadium construction, advanced player training, and analytics. Of course, baseball fans love to see home runs no matter what. So this long ball frenzy is another good reason to come out to the ballpark.
They're definitely exciting because it's like, the biggest play in the game almost.
Not all fans recognize the homers as purely science.
Not really. I think no matter, what the weather is, there's going to be a lot of home runs in the MLB.
But studying how warming temperatures may be impacting America's pastime has helped highlight the subtle impacts of climate change on everyday life. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
And researchers say MLB's vast collection of data over many decades helped make that study possible. A final check of your first warn forecast in just a moment.
Complete your spring cleanup with help from Menards. Works Outdoor Power Tools have everything you need to maintain your yard. Pick up the 20-volt cordless string trimmer edger and leaf blower combo kit for just $109.99 after rebate. Check out the rest of Works Power Tools and get the job done right. Clean up your yard and save big money. Right now, the Works 40-volt cordless lawnmower is $299.99 after 11% rebate at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Raising healthy children takes a village, and kids thrive when their village is healthy too.
SSM Health and News 3 Now are helping you unlock a healthier world with our Time for Kids Keys to Health campaign. We'll show you how sustainable choices create healthier lifestyles, explore the impacts of food security on families,
And share ways we can help build a healthy community together. Join us on air, online, and in your village, and take time for kids.
At the Spectrum Lab, we're bringing you the best in connectivity with Spectrum One. Get Spectrum Internet with the fastest speeds in the nation, so you always have enough speed for all your devices.
Plus, advanced Wi-Fi delivering state-of-the-art security and privacy.
Plus, Spectrum Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and data on a reliable nationwide network.
Get Spectrum One with Spectrum Internet for $49.99 a month, plus advanced Wi-Fi, plus your first line of Spectrum Mobile Unlimited, free for 12 months. Call 833-792-4999. Visit Spectrum.com or Spectrum Store today.
Our phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. So the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit US Cellular in-store or online to set up Us Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, built for us.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To your big promotion.
And to your new house.
I know!
What? I guess you had to move fast in this market.
Right? Best thing I did was get a pre-approval from Summit. Once I knew my budget, I only looked at homes I could make a serious offer on.
And how's construction going on your place?
1 month left.
Must be stressful.
Actually, no. I'm working with Summit too, and they've been great about answering all my questions and guiding me along. It's been easy.
Whether you're building or buying a home, Summit Credit Union is here to help.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, health experts are sounding the alarm tonight about the forever chemicals found in the fish we eat. What we're learning about the toxic chemicals that are affecting more than 95% of Americans. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Julian's back. Final check of the forecast.
Well, things will get better. We just have to be a little patient. As we get into the next couple of days, it is going to potentially bring in some showers and breezy conditions for Tuesday, but 60s are just around the corner. This weekend shaping up to be rather nice, still rather breezy. And then next week, we could see some more unsettled weather with some showers, potentially even thunderstorms, but at least we have 70s.
Yeah, that looks a little more like May. This was a chilly start, no doubt. Julian, thank you. We're back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. Charlotte will join me then. The CBS Evening News coming your way next. Stay tuned.